My name is Garrett, and this is Mojo Manufacturing. We gotta make two of these weird looking things. Raw stock size is going to be 4 by 1 by 4 1/4. Got everything loaded up here. Got the origin point right in the center on the top of this, and we're just going to clear everything out. So I'm barely holding on to anything, and I ended up scratching up my Talon Grip there. That's alright, we can go back and edit that in the program and make sure it won't do that anymore. So they wanted this blind hole threaded clear to the bottom. So I had to thread mill that to get it as close as I could. Putting the tab in there to check the threads, make sure they're okay. So I fixed up the program to make sure it wouldn't hit the Talon Grips anymore. Hopefully those last a little bit longer. I keep hitting them with everything I got. I couldn't get all the way to the bottom on the first operation because the Talon Grips were getting in the way. So I got these little pieces here that you can sort of bend it and they fall off, but still fairly annoying to get off. So I've been just going at it with a file, and it sort of give it a few whacks with the file and it comes right off. So I have this tiny little 1mm end mill in here. I've never milled anything with this small yet. I am freaking out just a little bit. I know this is due tomorrow, and I have two of these. I went ahead and bought two. They were super cheap, so I'm kind of skeptical. That's also why I bought two. Well, I don't think the depth of cut is correct on what it said on the specifications, so I'm going to go really slow to begin with. So let me get this straight while you're watching this. There are two parts here almost identical, and this part has a slightly larger slot width. So after I broke the small end mills on the other part, which had a smaller slot width, then I changed over to this part, and I used a 2mm end mill in order to cut this bigger slot, and it really worked out for a long time until it broke. So that is tool number 3, and it broke. Very disappointing. I ended up ordering two more 1/16 of an inch end mills from MSC, and they were here the next day. And I finished up the one with the larger slots, and I took a very light depth of cut and finished that up, and that was very exciting. And then we moved back on to the one with the smaller slots. And this slot was about a 1/16 of an inch wide, so there was no room on either sides to make an adaptive with this 1/16 of an inch end mill. So I just cut straight through, made a contour all the way through, and it ended up breaking. So that would be my 4th end mill that I broke. And I was freaking out so bad at this point because I knew this part was due and there was no way I could get it done. So it was very disheartening. And so my very last end mill, each pass was 0.8 of an inch deep and moving at 10 inches a minute and running 10,000 RPM. That whole part took me 4 hours to do that. Each slot was 0.2 inches deep, nearly 0.2 inches deep. So this little guy survived nearly 8 hours in a part running at 10,000 RPM. So I had one left. This was my very last 1/16 of an inch end mill. This was my last one. I went through 3 1/16 of an inch end mills and 1 2mm end mill, and this was the one, the last one I had, and it made it. It was like kicking that game-winning field goal, or the Hail Mary pass in football, American football that is, and it was absolutely amazing that I really got anything finished. I ended up sending the part out a day later than it was supposed to, which is okay, but man, it could have been a lot better. I should have had a slitting saw to make those slots, and I was naive enough to think that an end mill could just go ahead and go right on through that thing, but I was sorely mistaken. But I learned an awful lot with this project, this job shop job. First thing was really basically this was just learning my capabilities and learning the capabilities with this machine and future machines. Really, the thing I'm learning is everything will always be alright. So there's somebody that's always done something out there exactly like what I'm doing, and there's other people that have done it and can do it for you. If you're stuck, go take it to another machine shop or go have somebody else look at it. That's literally what I did. I ended up taking a day off work so I could get this finished, and early in the morning I called a machine shop that I knew had a wire EDM, and I said, hey, can you do this for me? And I need it this afternoon. I'll come do whatever I need to do or pay you however much. And unfortunately he said he couldn't take it on just because it's close to around this area, and there's many manufacturers around, and there's a lot of shutdown jobs for those manufacturers. So he was bogged down, and unfortunately he couldn't take this on and do this for me, and he was upset, or at least seemed like he was upset that he couldn't take this on. This was very early in the morning, and as soon as he told me that, I went straight to the machine and did what I needed to do and threw a Hail Mary pass with this last end mill. With that being said, thanks for watching. This was the end mill, the one that made it. Of all the end mills tried, this one came out on top. Of all the tools that I have, and of all the tools that I've bought, through everything I have, that was the one that made it.